From translation, KJV, King James Version. This 246th day of the year. Today, we're reading passages Ezekiel 16 to 17. Ezekiel chapter 16, verses 1 to 63. Again the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations, and say, Thus saith the Lord God unto Jerusalem, Thou art a mother of harlots, for in one day were all thy fathers. Thou art thy mother's daughter, thou art a sister of thy sisters, that spewed out their milk. Thou art a daughter of the Amorites, and thy father is an Hittite. And as for thy nativity, in the day thou wast born, thy navel was not cut, neither wast thou washed in water to cleanse thee. Thou wast not salted at all, nor swaddled in swaddling bands. None eye pitied thee, to do any of these unto thee, to have compassion upon thee. But thou wast cast out into the open field, as one that is to be loathed, in the day thou wast born. And when I passed by thee, I saw thee polluted with thine own blood. And I said unto thee when thou wast in thy blood, Live. Yea, I said unto thee when thou wast in thy blood, Live. I have caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field, and thou hast increased and waxen great, and thou art come to excellent beauty. Thy breasts are fashioned, and thy hair is grown, whereas thou wast naked and bare. Now when I looked upon thee, behold, thy time was come. And I spread my skirt upon thee, and covered thee with my presence. And I swear unto thee, and entered into a covenant with thee, saith the Lord God, and thou becamest mine. Then washed I thee with water. Yea, I thoroughly washed away thy blood from thee, and I anointed thee with oil. I clothed thee also with broidered work, and shod thee with badger's skin. And I girded thee about with fine linen, and covered thee with silk. I decked thee also with ornaments, and I put a crown on thy head, and I put a brooch on thy neck, and I put a jewel on thy forehead, and earrings in thine ears, and a beautiful crown upon thee. Thus wast thou decked with gold and silver, and thy raiment was of fine linen, and silk, and broidered work. Thou didst eat fine flour, and honey, and milk, and thou wast exceeding beautiful, and thou didst prosper into a kingdom. And thy renown went forth among the nations because of thy beauty, for it was perfect through my comeliness, which I had put upon thee, saith the Lord God. But thou didst trust in thine own beauty, and playedst the harlot because of thy renown, and pouredst out thy fornications upon every one that passed by, his it was. And of thy garments thou didst take, and didst deck thee with high places of divers colors, and didst play the harlot thereupon. The like thing shall not come again. Thou hast also taken thy fair jewels of my gold and of my silver, which I had given thee, and hast made to thyself images of men with them. Yea, and hast committed whoredom with them. And thou hast taken thy broidered garments, and hast covered them. And thou hast set mine own table before them. And hast taken thy sons and thy daughters, whom thou hast borne unto me, and hast sacrificed these to them, to be devoured. Are these thy whoredoms to be recompensed? Yea, and thou hast taken thy men children and thy women children, whom thou hast borne unto me, and hast offered them to be devoured. Abomination is this that thou hast done. And thou hast slain my children for idols, and hast polluted them with all manner of uncleanness. And in all thy abominations and thy whoredoms thou hast not remembered the days of thy youth, when thou wast naked and bare, and wast polluted with blood. And it came to pass, after all thy wickedness, Woe, woe unto thee, saith the Lord God, that thou hast also built unto thee an eminent place, and hast made thee an high place in every street. Thou hast built thy high place at every corner of the way, and hast made thy beauty to be abhorred, and hast opened thy feet to every one that passed by, and multiplied thy whoredoms. Thou hast also committed fornication with the Egyptians thy neighbors, being great of flesh, and hast multiplied thy whoredoms to provoke me to anger. Behold, therefore I have stretched out my hand over thee, and have delivered thee unto the men of the east as a spoil, and I will smite thee, and turn thee back unto the desert of thy people. Thou hast played the harlot also with the Assyrians, because thou wast not content. Yea, thou hast played the harlot with them, and yet thou wast not satisfied. Thou hast moreover multiplied thy fornications unto the land of Chaldea, even unto Chaldea, and yet thou wast not satisfied therewith. How weak is thine heart, saith the Lord God, seeing thou dost all these things like a stubborn whore openly, in that thou buildest thine eminent place at the head of every way, and makest thy high places in every street, and art not as a whore. For thou hast scorned money, and taken no reward, but as a wife that committeth adultery, which taketh strangers instead of her husband, thou givest a reward to all thy lovers, and hireth them, that they may come unto thee from every side for thy whoredom. And in thee is the contrary, that thou dost not receive a reward for thy whoredom. For thou givest a reward to thyself, and in thee is it not done, but thou art the contrary. Wherefore, O harlot, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord God, because thy filthiness is poured out, and thy nakedness is discovered, I will also pour out my fury upon thee, and I will deliver thee unto bitter anguish. And I will judge thee, and execute upon thee the judgments of women that have no child. And I will make thee desolate and childless. And I will even visit upon thee the blood of thine own blood, and will slay thee with the judgments of them that are desolate and childless. Thou shalt also give thy birth to be devoured, and thy blood shall be sprinkled in the midst of thee because of thy uncleanness, and for all thy abominations. And there shall be, saith the Lord God, that I will take away from thee the men, and that I will deliver thee from their hand. I will deliver thee from their violence, and I will bring an end in thee, and thou shalt be no more. Yea, my fury against thee will be accomplished, and my anger in thee will be stilled, and I will be no more angry. Because thou hast not remembered the days of thy youth, but hast raged against me in all these things. Therefore surely I will recompense thy way upon thy head, saith the Lord God, and thou shalt not commit this lewdness any more. Yea, thou shalt not commit any more such wickedness. Behold, every one that useth proverbs shall use this proverb against thee, saying, As is the mother, so is her daughter. Thou art thy mother's daughter, that loatheth her husband and her children. And thou art thy sister's sister, which loathed her husband and her children. Your mother was an Hittite, and your father an Amorite. And thine elder sister is Samaria, she and her daughters that dwell at thy left hand. And thy younger sister, that dwelleth at thy right hand, is Sodom and her daughters. Yet hast thou not walked after their ways, nor done after their abominations. But thou hast done more abominable than they in all things. As I live, saith the Lord God, Sodom thy sister hath not done, she nor her daughters as thou hast done, thou and thy daughters. Behold, this was the iniquity of thy sister Sodom. Pride, fullness of bread, and abundance of idleness was in her and in her daughters. Neither did she strengthen the hand of the poor and needy. And they were haughty, and did abomination before me. Therefore I took them away as I saw good. Neither hath Samaria committed half of thy sins, but thou hast multiplied thy abominations more than they. And thou hast justified thy sisters in all thine abominations which thou hast committed. Thou also, which hast judged thy sisters, bear thine own shame for thy sins, that thou hast committed more abominable than they. They are more righteous than thou. Yea, be thou confounded also, and bear thy shame, in that thou hast justified thy sisters. When I shall bring again their captivity, the captivity of Sodom and Samaria and their daughters, then I will bring again the captivity of thy daughters, that thou mayest bear thy shame, and mayest be ashamed of all that thou hast done, in giving them comfort. And thy sisters, Sodom and her daughters, shall return unto their former estate, and Samaria and her daughters shall return unto their former estate. Then thou and thy daughters shall return unto your former estate. For thy sister Sodom was not a byword in thy mouth in the days of her pride, before thy wickedness was discovered, as it is to be, in all that thou hast done, but thou art for their shame, and dost bear the iniquities of thy sisters. Thou hast borne thy lewdness, and